joining us on Offsides. I'm Jada Montemorano. Today we have 3 analysts here for a buzzer beater segment where each analyst will have 20 seconds to give their sports take on a variety of topics. Let's start off with playoff baseball. Of the remaining teams, Peter, who do you think has the best pitching staff?
Well, Jada, obviously there are 4 very good pitching staffs in this game right now. You have the Dodgers and the Tigers with possibly the best 1-2 punches. But I want to take a look at the Cardinals because they have 3 15-game winners. And when you get to the end of that rotation and late in the game, they have a Trevor Rosenthal who throws 90 miles an hour up in the zone. You're not going to hit him. They're too good.
Now, Pat, what do you think about this subject?
Well, Jada, I am probably going to have to go with the Tigers because they've got Max Scherzer, Justin Verlander, Anibal Sanchez, Doug Fister. Just a fantastic, fantastic rotation. They don't even need much of a bullpen, and they don't have the best, but they don't need it because Scherzer, Verlander are into the 8th and 9th inning every game.
All right, now we'll get Josh's take.
Jada, give me the Dodgers. I want 2 Cy Young winners in Kershaw and Greinke. Kershaw has been throwing gas all year long, sub-2 ERA. He's been carrying that in the postseason, and the NLDS, he was just killing it. We got Brian Wilson in the bullpen. He has experience winning postseason games. I want the Dodgers in my pitching staff.
All right, guys, moving on to football. Do you think Jadeveon Clowney is actually committed to South Carolina, or is he too focused on his NFL future?
Well, it sucks to speculate this, but I really do think he's focused on the NFL. There's so much hype around the kid, you can't really blame him. But he knows he's going to be a top 5 draft pick, and he's being a little soft. He's got a rib injury. He's out. I don't know. I can play with a rib injury. I mean, the guy just needs to play football while he can. He's not performing right now, and it's strange.
I think that he's focused on South Carolina. I know that he sat with the injury, but honestly, there's been a very horrible history with players being pushed by their coaches to play when they're injured, and I think that he has to look out for himself, but at the same time, I think he's focused on helping South Carolina win football games.
I think Clowney's already got his bags packed for the NFL Combine, and I can't really blame him. Why would he want to risk an injury to a Kentucky team that's so subpar in the SEC, and his own team isn't in contention for anything in the SEC playoffs or the BCS championship? I think Clowney's playing it smart, and he really is. He's already got his mindset on the NFL.
Now we're going to take it back to baseball. Who do you think is the best player right now in the clutch?
There are a lot of clutch players right now, but I have to go Justin Verlander. Game 5 against the A's, he embarrassed a major league team. He embarrassed grown men in that game. He was throwing 98 miles an hour. They just couldn't touch it, and I have a hard time seeing anyone touching it. I mean, he's striking out way too many guys. It's gonna be tough for the Red Sox in this next round.
I have to go with Carlos Beltran. He is a .345 career hitter in the postseason. His slugging percentage is first all-time, and he has 16 postseason home runs in just 172 plate appearances. And those are just ridiculous numbers, and he is just really, really fun to watch in the clutch.
I'm going with Clayton Kershaw. He's been wheeling and dealing all regular season long, and he's continued that in the postseason. In the NLDS, Game 1, he threw a gem. No one could hit him in that. And in Game 4, it was a little sloppier, but they still got the W. And that's all that really matters. And I'm going to trust Kershaw to give me the victories in the NLCS and potentially the World Series.
Now, one last football topic. Are the Jets and Geno Smith for real, or has their play as of late been misleading?
Jada, it sounds super weird to say this, but the Jets might be for real. It's not necessarily because of Geno Smith. He's a fun rookie quarterback to watch, but it's because of their defense, and specifically their defensive line, led by Muhammad Wilkerson. They have a bunch of Pro Bowlers on that defense. If not this year, down the line, the Jets could contend this year.
I just can't see them being for real. Sure, they're 3-2, but they've been outscored by 16 points, even though that they're 3-2. And everyone is always saying how poised Geno Smith is. Well, that's what they were saying about Mark Sanchez back in the day in his first couple of years, and we all see how that turned out.
I've got to agree. I don't think the Jets are going anywhere this year. They may be 3-2 right now, but they haven't won 2 games straight. And yeah, their defense is solid. This is the anchor of the team. But Geno's going to have to carry that offense, and he's been so inconsistent. He was great in Atlanta on Monday night, throwing 3 touchdowns, bringing them back. But the game before that in Tennessee, 4 turnovers. You can't do that as a rookie. You can't do that as a starting quarterback.
Now let's touch back on the MLB again real quick. Guys, we saw what happened in the ALDS between the A's and the Tigers. Home run review has been in effect for 5 years now, and the system still has serious flaws. On the other hand, it also benefited teams with its precision. Where do you guys sit on this?
I personally was a fan at first. I figured why not let teams get the benefit of the doubt. They deserve this. If they hit a home run, then it deserves to be reviewed. But you just look at the Oakland Athletics alone. In that big game, that was the turning point of this entire series when Victor Martinez hit that ball out. and a fan reached over, they straight up broke the rules by calling that a home run. And if there's still a human element, if there's still human flaws, this can't happen. It needs to be done away with.
It is certainly not a perfect system, but on the other hand, it's very, very helpful because in 1997, the Orioles got screwed over by a call. Derek Jeter hit a home run in the ALCS, which was clearly interfered with by a fan, and the umps weren't allowed to go look at it because they didn't have the system. Now they can look at it, and they can help.
I agree. How bad would it be if they didn't have this replay system intact? You know, home runs going over, at least we can review it. There's always going to be a human element, but at least they can review it now and take a closer look. As to, like Pat just said, 97, they couldn't do that back then. They couldn't look at Jeter's home run.
All right, guys, let's close out with the NBA. The basketball regular season is right around the corner. Who do you think is a dark horse candidate in each conference?
I have to go. I'll start with the West. The Golden State Warriors. They played very well, exciting, good basketball last year, and all they did was get better. They added Andre Iguodala, and that's a force. That seems kind of unfair. So they'll definitely show up in the West big time. And in the East, it's got to be the New York Knicks. They were also there last year. It seemed like they might do it, and they added Tim Hardaway, who I thought was going to be the best NBA player out of that draft class.
Starting from the West, I have to go with the Minnesota Timberwolves. They've got Kevin Love coming back from injury, Ricky Rubio, Alexei Shved, and I just think that they can really be a force if they all stay healthy. And as for the East, I have to go with Cleveland. Kyrie Irving, one of the most exciting NBA players in the league right now. Andrew Bynum, not to mention Anthony Bennett, who was the first overall pick in the draft.
In the West, I'm going to go with the Houston Rockets. I mean, James Harden had a great year last year. They've already got a Sheik coming back, and they added Dwight Howard. That's a huge front court to deal with. I don't know of anyone in the West that can actually guard that front court. In the East, I'm going to go with the Chicago Bulls. They were so close to beating the Heat last year, and they had no offense whatsoever. You had Derrick Rose, and he's back from his knee injury. I think he's going to be a lot better.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thanks, guys, for all of your input. On behalf of our entire crew, I'm Jada Montemurano. We'll see you next week.